Hello, Sagittarius. How's everybody doing today? Hopefully your day is getting off to a good start, or your evening, depending on where you're watching me. And really looking forward to checking in with you. We just had a really lovely collective reading yesterday, so if you haven't had a chance to look at it, please do. We're in the equinox right now, which means that there's an equal amount of sun and of night. And so this is a really magical time to be taking a look at what's coming through for the month ahead. I'm going to put down my little sleepyhead assistant here, Apollo, so we can get started. And then let's discuss. Good job, buddy. All right. So my name is Nicholas Ashbaugh. Welcome to your monthly forecast. This can be used for Sun, Rising, Moon, and Venus. A lot of times people will ask, is it okay to watch multiple videos for your different placements? Of course it is. And if you happen to know more about your overall chart, then you can actually watch more than that. But I usually suggest those 3 or 4 just to kind of get a good idea of what's going on in your life. The overall format is right here. I like to begin with channeled messages that come through in dreams and meditations, and then we move on to the more traditional Celtic Cross. I always like to let that sort of take on whatever flavor or energy it wants to, and then I'll look at specific areas, including health, wealth, love, and destiny after that. And the rest of the forecast is here. We're going to have a chance for you to vote on some things today when we look at the viewer's choice. And always remember at the end that you'll get a chance to ask a silent question. So I do my best here that I can to really look at it from all angles, but sometimes there's something specific to you, so save that until the end. I don't answer questions live, but I do give you that sort of opportunity to meditate on something and ask a question. And you could conceivably do that in all of my videos to kind of get some information and guidance if you need it. Okay, so that's how everything is going to be set up for today. I've already lit the candles, although I noticed one is a little dim, so I'm going to light one more candle because that one looks a little dim. So we've set all the intentions today. If there's anything that any of you are focusing on during this post-equinox period here, let's go ahead and set up an intention right now to hear your prayer, hear your wish, and also to bring in protection and guidance. Again, I already did most of the lighting of the candles, but we'll do one last one together. Okay, so let's get started. A couple of quick notes actually before I begin. If it's your first time here, welcome. Please hit the subscribe button if you can before we get into it, because I know that sometimes it's easy to forget about that. It really does help the channel, and it will also be a great way for you to know when I do new videos. Hit the like button as well. It helps with engagement and discovery. Fancy words for saying YouTube will show more people this video if you do that. You can also follow me on social media if you'd like some more information about who I am and what I do. My Instagram, I'll post pictures of my life. Everything else I put, again, sort of reminders about what's coming through here. If you'd like to show some support in real time, you can do that with SuperChats, SuperStickers, and memberships. Also on replay, there's an option called Thanks right by the share button. All of these work as a great way to sort of say thank you. And my schedule's on my website. I also posted a link here in the live chat, and you can take a look at that if you'd like. Okay, so we're going to begin with the channeled messages. Channeled messages are things that come to me as I'm preparing for this reading, and also a lot of times through dreams. So today a lot of these things came during meditation. I'm going to talk about all of those right now. So let me get the presentation set up. You have a triple totem today. That doesn't always happen, but there was a lot to talk about, and there were a lot of things that I had to sort of like choose between today. So I did my best to really pick the best ones, and we're going to go into them now. So the first one is sort of like a joint totem of the acorn and the oak tree. I like this because it shows that good things come in small sizes or unexpected packages, and sometimes something that looks small can actually open up an opportunity or a doorway that you wouldn't otherwise have gone through, and it's very sort of like profitable or very engaging. So we'll talk more about that in a moment. Morning Glory, which is a vine and a ground cover. It's got a persistent sort of nature to it, which I like, and also an ephemeral or short-lived nature, which I think is interesting. And then the bobcat as well. Let's talk about the first totem here, which is the oak tree. And the oak tree overall is giving me what this title says, which is health is wealth. You know, I have that expanded forecast where I look at the two separately. Interestingly enough, there's oftentimes overlap between the two because what we do for a living, how we approach work, how we sort of conduct ourselves, it absolutely has an impact on how healthy and happy we are. So without health, wealth is meaningless. Let's talk a little bit about the oak tree, and then we'll go more into this message here. So the oak tree has this lifespan that's quite long. It's over 1,000 years or up to 1,000 years. And so, of course, it would be symbolic of longevity and strength. There was a choice here between, because I can only sometimes feature so many cards. I could have put them both, but when I thought about strength versus temperance in my head, temperance won out because although strength is kind of the obvious choice here because this tree is long living and strong and tall, I was also thinking the way that it does that is by just kind of like looking at the long-term goal here, which is to sustain its life. It doesn't sort of put out too much energy. It doesn't sort of try to overdo things. So really, when I was looking hard and deep into this symbol, it was about temperance. So the message today when I go into this symbol is saying, look at long-term goals in your life and remember that moderation is going to be that sort of key factors to success. So not going too high, not going too low, not burning yourself out. Prioritize your well-being. So this still includes the strength message, but the key to it is temperance. So make sure that your mental, physical, and spiritual well-being is intact. If there's anything that's going on where you're burning the candle at both ends or you just feel exhausted, now is the time to step back a little bit, take care of yourself, and remember that this vessel is what's going to get us to the finish line. And getting to the finish line at all costs actually may cost too much. So that's why temperance is here. Finally, just to sum it up, health is wealth. Without it, resources are meaningless. So if you're at a job and you're working all the time, you don't get to see your friends or your family, sometimes you may wonder, what am I doing this for? It's a good question. Figure out if there's another means to the end that you're trying to achieve, which would be to support yourself, support your family, or open up abundance and self-sustaining energy in the long run. There's not just one way. So look in all the different avenues and don't sort of like resign yourself to having to be on this one path. Sometimes we're just unimaginative when it comes to that. I know I was before I quit my corporate career and my last job, and it can be very easy to decide like I have to stay there. Lessons in leadership also came through when I was looking at this totem. Based on some previous research that I did, I was fascinated then, and I kept this note handy so we could talk about it in the future, that many different religions use the oak tree and they connect it to sort of the highest god in their pantheon. So Zeus and Jupiter and Thor, all these different gods that I kind of listed here. And it's not just those religions and mythologies. There's a lot that are in that sort of paragraph. Basically, this tree is associated with leadership and the sky. So the sky being the limit, or maybe not even putting a limit on things when it comes to being imaginative and exploring things. So you have this chance to step up to the plate and try your hand at leadership or leading the charge. Remember to encourage not only yourself, but others, because today when I was thinking of this Emperor card, I was also thinking of sometimes you can get a combination in tarot where you'll have like the Sun card and the Emperor. So age can be misleading. Practical knowledge, I think, is what's going to save the day here in the month ahead. Age doesn't always equate wisdom. Rank definitely doesn't always equate wisdom. Leadership and knowledge and this sort of sage energy, it can come from an unexpected source. And for some of you, that could be yourself because you're not giving yourself enough credit. It could also be someone else because you have a preconceived notion of what they're capable of. Remember, we've lived many lifetimes. I actually had someone recently ask me if I believe in reincarnation. Absolutely. But for me, it's because I've seen kind of like a mirror into my past lives. So that makes it easier. But yes, I believe that we have many lifetimes. We come back to this planet. By the time you're tuning into this video, you've already gained enough knowledge to sort of, on a soul level, know if something's right or wrong. So go into that inner Emperor energy because you're older than you look or feel as well. This isn't your first revolution around the sun. So trust yourself and know that you can lead, even if you don't have the skill, title, education, or age that you think you do. You have the soul experience. One of your lifetimes, You've already been through some of these things, and you're getting a chance to look at it differently, to approach it differently. So instead of thinking, can I do it? This is what I could have put on the slide, but instead of, it's coming to me live though. Instead of thinking like, can I do it? You're going to think, what am I going to do differently this time? So you can do it. You will do it. It's just a matter of approach. And that's what this Emperor sort of energy is. And that's why the oak tree came through. Okay. More than meets the eye is the next message here. And we actually talked about the Four of Cups. It was either on the weekend or let's see what, maybe it was on the Scorpio reading. But there is more than meets the eye when it comes to what's coming through this month. The Four of Cups is a frustrating and also a beautiful card because oftentimes whatever it is that you seek in your life, whether it's some elusive goal or some sort of opportunity opening up, the answer is right kind of here. It's on the tip of your tongue, the top of your head. It's right there around you. It could literally be like one person away if you just reached out. But we can see this person in the Four of Cups just kind of looking here, but not looking at the big answer, the big opportunity that's in front of them. So open up a little bit. I talked about this sort of seed energy here. You know, acorns are the dry fruit of the oak tree. That's why I kind of bundled them together. Lots of animals like to eat this, from jays to pigeons to ducks to woodpeckers to mice to squirrels, etc., etc. There's a lot of animals who use this as a sort of source of sustenance. It also is that little tiny form of the big tree. So you may miss something's potential, and that's why I mentioned it here. Something that could be sustaining, something that could be bigger than you think. So if you have a small idea that pops through your head, but it's persistent, or when it comes to you, you just really think, I need to look into this. Look into this. If you meet someone and they seem to have everything that you're looking for, like in a coworker, in a love interest, or as a partner in business or something, but somehow they're, maybe they're unassuming in their experience, like maybe their stature or their experience or their resume doesn't show all of that, but you feel like, God, this person has potential. They have potential. You have potential. So we have to look at the potential for growth, not just what has been shown. There's more than meets the eye. It's kind of like an iceberg would be another metaphor for this. So don't limit yourself by what you're currently showing up as. Don't limit someone else. Don't limit your dreams by sort of expectations or projections of fear and anxiety from others. Avoid self-deprecating thoughts, words, actions, etc. Sometimes this can be just a defense mechanism where you make fun of yourself, and it can be seen as a sort of, a fun trait, but it can hurt you in the long run. And by all means, avoid self-deprecating language towards others. What's an example of this? Well, it would be when you just, when you say something on the phone like, hey, it's just me. I have a question. Just me. Just say, hey, it's me. I'd like to talk about this. Or saying, I may be crazy, or I know I don't have a lot of experience here, or this may be a silly idea, but don't do that. Instead, say, I have an idea, and I think it's amazing. Do you want to hear? Now you've set yourself up to really be successful in the receipt of that. So even just saying, let's talk, I have something that I'd love to get your insight on. I'm excited about it, but I trust and value your opinion, so I'd like to hear what you have to say. That's a way, if you really are looking for, like you want to say, I'm not sure, you can say that, but just say, I've done as much work as I can do, I'm ready for feedback. So many different ways to approach it without putting yourself down or without protecting yourself with the shield of maybe I'm wrong. So maybe you're right. And maybe if you just go into it with this idea without putting the trappings of potential failure on it, then it's going to take off. So you've got more than meets the eye. Other people may have more than meets the eye. Your idea could be more sort of positive and sustaining and have more potential than you might be giving it credit for. Fortunately or unfortunately, things require work in order to grow. Plants require water and food and a big enough pot in order for them to also grow. So I like the Seven of Pentacles isn't always seen as the gardener, the cosmic gardener, but that's what he is. The thing that gets in the way of this cosmic gardener is his impatience and his fear of failure or repeated failure. Because the Seven of Pentacles indicates that you are being shown something again, and you've got it. You're going to be all right. But your fear, your doubt, or your uncertainty could cause you to trip up. Let's talk about why I picked this card. I said a dream or epiphany is only as good as the follow through. So if you get an idea or if you want to do something, but you don't act on it, it's just a good idea with no follow through. So I'm encouraging you to follow through on it. What are you doing to bring it to fruition? Do something every day, a little bit, even if you're just marinating the idea in your head a little bit, and doing some research. But better yet, once you've started the momentum, make a phone call, make an email, set aside a couple hours of work, talk to someone else, get more people involved, hire some, whatever it takes to take it from thought to action to fruition. It's going to be a process. Growth, the sustaining type of growth anyway, can take time. It doesn't always have to. Sometimes we're lucky and things come through. I don't really believe in luck, and I'll talk about that in a second. But if you're at the beginning phase of growth, then you just have to keep nurturing it. One thing that helps me is that I like to grow succulents and cacti on my back porch. Maybe one of these days I'll bring some of them in here because they're blooming right now in the springtime, which is nice. But I kind of ignore, I give them love, but then I walk away from them and let them grow too. And then what I notice sometimes is I need time and distance. And then all of a sudden you walk out and there's like 3 or 4 blossoms. And I think, oh yeah. But if I just sat there and looked at it and waited for it to blossom, it would be very kind of like infuriating. So I'd love you to consider, like if you ever watch a really good chef, they're not going to have 10 things cooking at once, but they'll have 2 or 3 things, because while you're waiting for the water to boil, you can chop up the vegetables. Once that's been put in there, you can be working on searing or sauteing something else. And at the same time, maybe something's cooling in the fridge and it's ready to come out. So you can multitask. Multitasking is key, and that helps you with this sort of feeling of waiting for water to boil, waiting for something to grow. So feed not just this goal, but all the sort of supporting things that are going to help you, and multitask in a way that sets you up for success. Time's your friend, not your enemy, particularly when multitasking is at work, because you're going to need the time for all these different things. I also believe that a synchronicity is coming through. The impatience piece on this one can hold you back from understanding the synchronicity. When I said I don't believe in luck, what I meant is that I think that synchronicities are basically the universe opening up an opportunity for you when you've got everything that it takes to make it happen. But the preparation, the emotional preparation, and the willingness to kind of like take that leap of faith or dive in, that is the piece that we sometimes associate with luck. It's timing and preparedness that we usually would kind of call luck. If you've done the work and you're ready to take the leap, then you're lucky. But it's really a synchronicity. So a synchronicity feels too good to be true. Like it just happens. It's like, oh my gosh, I've been wanting for this. I've been waiting. I've been manifesting, and here it is. So go for it, okay? I feel like you're right on the precipice of this, and if it happens, take that window, take that leap of faith, because you don't know when another one is going to come through. As I was walking this morning, I saw some morning glory blossoming, and this is one of my favorite flowers and totems. It's both a symbol of abundance and persistence because it climbs, it's a vine, but it's also ephemeral because these lovely blossoms here that I captured this morning, they won't be there tomorrow. They'll shrivel up, there'll be some new ones. So it really reminds you to be present in mind, body, and spirit. Also, the fact that they bloom early in the morning, thus the name Morning Glory, tells me some of you may have just this sort of burst of energy, or again, an epiphany or an idea that comes through in the early hours of the morning. Make sure you capture that on paper or to record it in your phone so that you can do something with it in that moment or in that day. Because if you put it off, then it may kind of like just fade away. So whatever goal or dream or thought is present and persistent right now, pay attention to it and decide, what am I going to do to make this happen? Set some priorities and limits in your life. The Six of Pentacles is actually one of my favorite cards because it's the sign that things are taking a turn for the better. But it's also a sign of power and a reminder that you're going to have to be the one that keeps the scale in balance. So talking a little bit about morning glory. Again, it's a vine and a ground cover. It will take over as much as you let it. So if you ever have it in your yard, you're going to have to prune it back. You might have to weed it out of certain areas. I remember when I was a kid, my parents had made the mistake of putting a dwarf variety of it, and it was so prevalent that and yarrow actually can have a very almost like weed type energy where they take things over. So for years we were trying to keep control of both the yarrow and the morning glory, but I still love both, and it really depends on what climate. Like these sort of plants in California will not have as much of an impact as maybe like the Midwest, or depends where you're at, because sometimes there's so much more water and they can just take off. So be careful. In real life, what we're looking at is people that can get into your space or can take advantage of your generosity, and then it just keeps going and going and going. So prune that back, say no where you need to. And in the third paragraph here, I said you can't please everyone all the time. Do what's right, do what's sustainable, and also what's best for you and for others. Popularity should not be the litmus test for success all the time. Sometimes what's unpopular is very much the right thing and very necessary. And in retrospect and in history, people look back on that as the best thing, the wise decision, the strong decision to make. Ultimately, people can and will respect your ability to both create and maintain the limits that you set in your life. So prioritize what matters, stick to it. And if you do this and you keep your limits, the scale will always be in balance. There's always going to be people asking and wanting for more. That's a good sign. That's showing me that you're doing what you should be doing here. But ultimately, if you keep a good sort of a line in the sand and say, this is as much as I can do today, you'll have to ask that person or delegate, etc. You'll be all right. Timing is going to be really important. We're going to look here a little bit at the bobcat symbol that came through. And there were two tarot cards for this particular totem that I thought about. One is the Moon card, one is the Seven of Wands. So I really wanted to focus on one key thing when I was looking at the bobcat as a symbol. And that's the way that it captures its prey. It's kind of sneaky, and it pounces in that moment. So what I'm seeing for some of you is that there could be a lot of competition for something right here and right now. So if you're ready and everything is prepared, then don't delay. If you're doing your own sort of work and trying to get things aligned, guard your intellectual property, your ideas. Be careful of some things and just be mindful of people on the perimeter and the periphery and seeing what they're doing. The Moon card can be someone that tries to come through as a friend, but may have other intentions. So just use your intuition. You'll be able to sort this out. The sort of action piece of this is so important because I said when a synchronicity presents itself, go for it, because if not, someone else will. This even includes asking someone out for a date. If there's someone that you want to talk to, or if there's a job that you're interested in, or if you want to buy a house or do something, timing is key. Other people are just as interested in that person, place, opportunity, or thing. So go for it. We've got the Seven of Wands here, which I also see as a card for competing for something. But what I put here is you're just as deserving as the next person, so just put your best foot forward. That's all you can do at the end of the day, right? So we have one more card after this, which is coming out of your shell. One of the other things that I learned when I was briefly looking at the bobcat was that it is territorial. It kind of likes to keep to itself. And so for you, the hermit energy has a time and place to discover who you are, to build your sort of skills and your capabilities. But if you exist too long in that energy, then you start to cut off growth opportunities in your life. So use your instincts to help you land on your feet. Avoidance is going to kind of keep you out of the game. There's no time for that right now. There's too many positive things that are coming through for you. Okay, so really exciting, really substantial messages that came through, quite a few, triple totem today, but I think it's great. So we're gonna move along into the Celtic Cross here next. I think today I'm gonna take a quick look here at a few different decks and see which one's calling to me today. I do think the Divine Tarot of the Divine is, but I mean, I'll put it up for a vote. I didn't have a chance to let you vote on the weekend, so I'll let you vote today. So give me just a moment to open up the poll here for you, and we'll get everything set up. So how's everybody doing while I'm getting this organized? Hopefully you're having a good day and you're ready for the messages here. I talked on the weekend, if you haven't watched the collective just yet, about the importance of this period in time, because with this sort of equilibrium energy, you have the potential right now to, kind of like the Six of Pentacles, prioritize what matters. So hopefully today we can help you find some balance in your life. Okay, so give me a second here to grab a few different decks and then I'll let you vote. Okay, so actually you'll need to see what I'm doing while I'm doing this, so give me a second. And we'll choose from these. Okay, so let's give you an overhead view. These are the ones I selected for today. So we have this, I have to look at this one. This one's really cool because it's all, I think it's the Spirit Within. Spirit Within, it's all these lovely sort of silhouettes. This is Tarot of the Divine, which has just some beautiful imagery that is like fairy tales retold. Afro Goddess, an all-time favorite for me. And then also one that I haven't used a lot lately, but the Wild Unknown, which has these cool sort of sketch-like images. All right, so let me get this poll set up and I'll let you choose from the ones that called to me today. So which deck would you like? For this poll, you need to be on a computer or on a mobile device. All right, so I'll let you see my face while I'm doing this. Okay, so we're going to look at Spirit Within, the Tarot of the Divine. All these are on my website too. Afro Goddess and the Wild Unknown. Okay, so please don't type it in the text. Don't type it in the chat area. Vote for it instead. I see some of you doing that. Okay, so one more time. This is the first option. Again, it's all shadows and light and silhouettes. So the equinox reminded me of that. This is the second option. Has a cool kind of color theme. And again, everything's based on a myth. Then we have the always awesome Afro Goddess deck. And one more time, the Wild Unknown. I don't use it all the time because, again, you probably know if you watch here, the wand suit can sometimes be confused with the sword suit, so I just have to be careful when I'm using it, but either are fine. So when you guys are ready, go ahead and cast those votes. We have a pretty close one between Wild Unknown and Tarot of the Divine, so it looks like the choice is between those. So a couple more votes, a couple more opportunities. Let me know which one you're going to do, and I think it might be Tarot of the Divine here. We'll see here. It is by a slim margin of 31%, so thank you to everyone who voted. Let's get into today's forecast. All right, a reminder if you just joined that you can use this for your sun, rising, and moon sign. Venus as well, any aspect of your chart. We have a few that just kind of came out of nowhere, which is interesting, so we're going to let them be. Thanks so much, Rosemary, for that support. Thank you to everybody that's giving back. I will, at the very end, say thank you to anybody that had an opportunity to give back with Super Chat or Super Stickers. I do appreciate it. All right. Beautiful stuff already coming through here. Interesting that the Seven of Pentacles made an appearance here in the crowning position. We'll talk more about that in a moment. Actually, let's put All right. Really great images, really great energy coming through for today. Let's begin with your catalyst card here, the vow. Matches my shirt. So this is kind of what we were talking about at the beginning. What is it that you're trying to do? Are you ready to do the work that's necessary to bring it into fruition? Are you also kind of like, I think the main thing here is, what are you committing yourself to? What are you getting yourself into? And also just sort of like, what kind of contract or goal or promise are you making to yourself, with yourself, to your higher self? If you don't have one, it's a good time to set a goal. We don't have to do that December 31st or January 1st. We can continue to reevaluate throughout the course of any given year where we're sitting with our opportunities. And a lot of times it's going to be really, I would say, effective, important, maybe even essential to do that mid-course, okay? So right now, are you keeping your promises? Are you focused on something? What's going on? And by the way, if there is a contract, an agreement, or a promise, this is just saying, see it through. Make sure that you do everything with the best of your ability. A long time ago now, I think this was for me probably like 2007 or 8, there was just a lot going on in my life, and I was frustrated. There was some stuff going on in the family, some stuff going on at work, and I had a really cool friend of mine who was a Reiki practitioner, and that person reminded me that whether or not I was fully enjoying like my job at the time, she said, don't do anything at like half-hearted, like with half of your energy or potential. She said, you're either in or you're out, and if you're going to do this, do a good job, because that follows you, not just in this life, but in all. If that person wanted you to do something and you said you were going to do it, you should do it to the best of your ability. Doesn't mean you have to burn yourself out. We talked about that. But definitely don't clock out. And I was like, okay, I see what you're saying, and I'll do that. It wasn't what I wanted to hear, but it was what I needed to hear. So if you said you were going to do something, see it through. And if you don't want to do it anymore, then exit. But try to do so with grace, and do so completing what you set out to do. And I think that's the most important thing that I can kind of convey with this. Keep your promises and do the work that you would hope others would do in return for you. That includes relationships. You know, if you said you were going to help someone with something, help them. And if they're falling short, or if there's things kind of like falling apart at that point, you can decide after this is done, we're done. But at least finish the promise, okay? And don't promise more than you can do. That actually can lead to Seven of Swords and Devil energy. And it's not even on purpose. Sometimes we intend with the best of heart to do something, but on a third eye level, on a heart level, we're like, but I'm doing this and this and this and this. So what you can say is, I can't promise this because I've got too much going on, but I can help you with this. Is that enough? That's you pulling in the Six of Pentacles and saying, I know what you're asking. I want to make sure that I can do it. This is how I can show up right now. And I believe that should be enough for the person. And if it isn't, then that was part of the lesson. Just figuring out if it's too much, that's okay. Okay. So you've got a bunch of pages and knights. They flipped out of the deck. I don't always take those volunteer cards, but today I did because they were curious. The cards that flipped out were the Knight of Swords, the Page of Cups, and the Page of Swords. To me, that's a lot of cooks in the kitchen. And it's a lot of people with very similar energy. This could be a group of friends. You're the kind of leader here, what I'm saying, or you have the opportunity to make the decision here because you're the knight. But I see a bunch of other energy coming through, and it's sort of asking for you, like, to me, this looks like three's a crowd, right? So is there too much going on in your social sphere or in your family? Or are there too many people offering advice or opinions to you right now? What are you doing to sort it out? Even though this wouldn't indicate your sign because it's air, the Knight of Swords is indicating action, and it's at the heart of the spread. So for you, that's signifying you. So I believe you're going to be asked to be the leader, which we talked about in the channel messages, and you're going to be asked to sort of like step out of the crowd a little bit. Your words, your actions, your subtle leadership will eventually set you up for the Empress here. I almost thought of pulling, and I should have just listened to my intuition on that one. Even though I put the Emperor card, I was like, it's really kind of like Empress energy, so I'm glad she showed up. The reason I like the Empress is because there's more divine feminine nurturing capacity here. So you can take something and actually it's kind of like a whispering sort of energy. When we're looking at potential, we were talking about the Acorn. If you're in the role of teacher, mentor, mother, father, etc., that divine feminine energy means that you can take someone and encourage them rather than like a coach sort of like say, what's wrong with you? Do this. A mom and a dad should instead sort of say, I know you can do this. What do you need? What kind of support can I give you to make this happen? So that's the approach. We don't want to be sort of like the coach yelling after a game. We want to be the mom and the dad or the aunt or the uncle or the grandparent that's there to say, I know you can do this, honey, but what is it that's missing? What do you need from me? Okay? And there you go. That's why I kind of like this energy. Gentle leadership, I think, could be the key to success. Knight of Swords. Let's talk a little bit more about this. Just as an aspect of you and your personality. So this is also about the competition and the necessary sort of action that I was talking about earlier. Early bird gets the worm is what I'm seeing with this. So if you're ready, if you're willing, if you're out there, the fact that you're the first there is going to bode well for you. Back when I was a kid, actually my mom was talking to someone the other day, and I talked to all of you a few readings ago about this, but the most important thing that my parents did was move us across country when I was young because I had a chance to reinvent myself and be a better student. When I was at my old school as a kid, they kind of pigeonholed me as not being smart or capable, but the new school was very supportive. And what I started to do is I would sit at the front of the class, I would raise my hand, I would participate more, and then suddenly my perspective of myself changed and other people's perspective of me changed. And so sometimes just being present and active and speaking can actually put you in the role of someone who they're like, that person knows what they're doing. So I want you to just speak up a little bit more. You'd be surprised. You actually do know what you're doing and you do know what you're saying. You wouldn't be showing up in my room here today if you didn't. You're intuitive and you just have to open the channel. Don't edit yourself so much. Allow for that rich knowledge to come through. Be kind of fun and playful with it because these cards here aren't very regimented or serious. So throw it out. Say, I have an idea. What do you think of this? We talked earlier about the importance of just putting it out there, okay? And that's what the Knight of Swords is doing. Communicating in a timely manner, not over-editing, and also knights go, they're above the page, but they can kind of get things done in a way that a page can't. So a page sometimes just is the messenger. Although I kind of say, if you're a medium, you're not just the messenger, you're also interpreting. But a knight stands up for what's right, too. So if there's something that you need to say or do it. Someone else is thinking it, but you're the one that's going to say it. And ultimately, then you're going to be seen as the person that's correcting it and may even get credit for it. So again, the first one gets the worm. Early bird gets the worm here. So that's important. Crossing this card, we have the Page of Cups. Say and do whatever it is that you're saying and doing with passion, with conviction, with confidence. Have some fun. This also brings about abundance. We see a little rabbit here, right near his ankle. And it's almost as if the rabbit's kind of pulling that connection or that cord off of his ankle. So your passion frees you. It kind of, what's the best word? Yeah, it untethers you. So if you can let people see that passion, then you're going to also pull yourself closer to an opportunity. You're going to bring them into your energy. You're going to be this much more magnetic source for people. So I think this could be an exciting month for you so far based on what I'm looking at. Deep past. What have you done to set yourself up for this? Well, it feels like some of you have just been working and reading and writing a lot. So for those of you that have been working on education or training, it's coming through here. I also see that finding your voice is just as important as using it. So some of you have been finding your point of view, finding your voice, finding your sort of special thumbprint that you're going to put on something. And that's important. That is the preparation that will help you with the synchronicity. I believe I talked about this on the weekend. Sometimes it's hard to remember because I do a lot of readings in rapid succession, but I recently talked about the importance of having the elevator pitch handy. So if any of you have been in an elevator and someone's asked you a question and they want a quick answer, the reason that we call it that is you have 1 to 2 floors. Maybe you have 10, 15 seconds to kind of get it out there. So if somebody wants your impression on something, we'll take it to a very practical thing. Maybe you work in finance or business and they want to know what you think of a certain investment or a certain company or someone that you interviewed. You have to kind of shoot from the hip and say something pretty quickly that you can pull it together. You can say, kind of like what we were talking about earlier. I think this person is younger. They don't have as much experience as we're looking for, but I liked what they said here, here, and here, and I think they're worth it. They're standing out for me. That's what the person wants to hear. Sum it up in a few bullet points. Someone may also ask you, why are you here? What do you want to do in your career? Your boss could ask you that. You could say, I'm glad you asked. I'm really happy with this job so far. I've learned this, this, and this. This is the area that I really want to be in 2 to 3 years. I'd love it if we could set up a plan for me to be there and work on it together. Thank you for asking. So have these sort of things ready for you for these opportunities. So you can also think like, what if I get a chance to talk to this person? If you're trying to date someone or if you're trying to open up some sort of a partnership or whatever, be ready for the moment that you can kind of connect, because then it's going to, and not like over rehearse or anything, just sort of think like, if I had a chance to talk to this person, this is what I would say. Be ready, because when we look at your soul this month, we have the High Priestess. She's reversed, but she's still powerful. So don't doubt yourself. You're opening up those opportunities. One thing that I've had the cool sort of opportunity to see in my own life is that sometimes I'll think to myself, wow, it'd be great to meet this person. Sometimes it's a well-known person, sometimes it's not. And then lo and behold, I'll just randomly be at a grocery store and I see that person, or I'm walking my dog, or I'm doing something completely random, but not really. The universe is conspiring to make sure that we met because it heard me say or think, I really want to meet this person. And then it seems kind of natural and it's a no-brainer. So know that you have that ability to bring about an unlikely partnership or meeting, okay? Yes, you can have love coming into your life this month. Yes, you have a lot of opportunities if it's love. So if you're single and looking, I definitely see love potential. We also got the lovers here. There could be an inconvenient mix of work and love. So you may be trying to get stuff done and you might meet someone at work or school. It might be also something where you're just, again, opening up this sort of synchronicity where you're focusing on something else and someone's attracted to what you're doing or what you have to say. Here's the impatience that I was kind of alluding to in the Seven of Pentacles, but it comes through first as a recent past thing that you have to deal with. The Hanged Man basically indicates that you're in a position or you're waiting for something for a reason. Let's assume, all things being equal, that the universe is trying to hold you back from saying something too early. So you may not hear from someone as quickly as you would like. What that gives you a chance to do is to let your feelings mature, let your words be collected in a sort of cognitive and sensible way, let the emotions die down a little bit so that the next time you talk, you're calm, you're cool, you're collected, and you're completely ready. Whether it's an interview, a negotiation, or an argument, you're going to have everything sorted out. Don't rush, don't force the timing. That's the most important message I can bring through with the Hanged Man. It's for a reason, the delay or the advance. So if something's happening too quickly and you're like, wait, or you're having to wait for someone else, just give it an extra day before you start to get worked up about it, because I feel like everything cosmically is happening for a time, for a reason, for a rhyme and a reason, I should say. We have the Seven of Pentacles at the top. This was it's a very different version of the card that I pulled, but that was the one that we saw where the guy was sitting there, arms crossed, waiting for the vine to grow. What we can see here are possibly someone else, an external person coming in and asking you, why haven't I seen more? This can be boss, parent, or friend coming through and just saying, like, why haven't I seen more progress on this? There may be something where you just fell short on it, like, again, you overcommitted. It would be better to say, it's good that you asked. I thought I could do this, but there's a lot going on. I'd still like to do it, but if I am to kind of deal with this, then this has to go. What would you like me to focus on? Just come clean if you've missed something and let them know that you're still there for them, but that there's either going to have to be a reduction of scope or an addition of time. Something's going to have to give. But for yourself, try to avoid that. This card is often indicative of debt or overcommitment. So if there's something that you want, but your budget can't afford it right now, it would be best to wait. The patience card that we saw just a couple of moments ago tells me that maybe it's a technological sort of thing. Like, so maybe there's a car or a computer or some other sort of investment. What we're seeing with this is that if you just wait, there could be a sale. There could be a better model that comes along. You can either get the better model or you can get the model that you wanted for less. So wait a little bit, because I see that it's very much worth the wait. You're going to be able to be more thrifty and you'll be ready for it rather than overextending yourself and then beating yourself up a little bit. A lot of you that are looking for houses right now might understand this as well, because the market is limited. There's no inventory. Everybody wants something. Inflation is high, and this isn't going to last forever. So you don't want to stretch yourself so far and then we see something come down a lot or there's something else that happens here. So be realistic. Even if that means that place that you had your heart set on, you're not going to get there. Maybe something equal to or greater than that. And that's what you can manifest for the universe. Because for whatever reason, if it's too difficult, if you have to push or strain, the universe is saying it's not time yet, or there might be something better, or you need additional support and help so that you don't get into that feeling of being overwhelmed, okay? Ask for help. Sometimes one of the key struggles with the Seven of Pentacles is just asking for help when you need it, okay? So we have the Empress here in the near future. I really, really like that this came through for you. This is your future. This is your outcome, or this is like near future and distant future. So we have control, manifestation, nurturing. Then we have Three of Wands, which is saying dreams coming to fruition, going even higher than one expected. What great messages to come through in the sort of final cards in a spread. So the Empress card is saying, you are the one. You can do this. You have like the green thumb, we would say, or the Midas touch. Green thumb is a better metaphor because it's saying that it's the heart-centric energy. That's actually the color of the heart. Rose can be there too, but it's green, the chakra there. So that's why sometimes if you've ever noticed someone that has a really hard time growing things, this isn't true for everyone, but sometimes it's because they're dealing with issues of the heart, or they don't have a very open heart. But a lot of times people that are really passionate, they have a very good green thumb or natural healers, because that energy is just coming through from the heart space. So your magic this month is here. The Empress energy is really about that. And we see, she kind of looks like Mother Mary here, but we see all of these beautiful flowers around her. So this is the time for abundance, growth, blossoming, showing your true colors, just like a peacock card, but in the divine feminine sort of way, just saying, look at all that I have to offer. Don't underestimate me. Don't take me for granted. And if you do, then I can take care of myself. I don't have to do this. So you don't have to say all of this. You can think it, you can kind of put it out there energetically. And then when you negotiate, when you have a conversation, people will pick up on this. This person knows who they are. This person may not stay around if I don't support them, if I don't reward them, if I don't acknowledge them. And so you don't always have to give an ultimatum, but you can feel it. You can decide, know what you want, go to the table knowing what you're worth and knowing what you want. And if you don't get it, then have your plan B, C, D, F, whatever, ready ready to kind of like follow through. You're going to have a good month. I'm excited, Sagittarius, for you, because in the environment, we have the Wheel of Fortune. There's a change coming. We have the Three of Wands here in the outcome. It's a positive change. The wheel is reversed, but to me, that can just be like when you're driving and you have to crank the wheel a little bit. So you're either going 90 degrees or 180 degrees. You're going in a different angle from what's expected. But because this was modified by the outcome, the Three of Wands, it's a good change. Don't be afraid to go back and finish something that you didn't finish before. Don't be afraid to start something that you always intended to. Don't be afraid to take a weird turn in the road. That's what I did with my life, and I'm happy with it. Even if, like, one of the things that, and it isn't true, but one of the things that initially I thought, I was like, well, if I do this, there may be no turning back. That isn't true, by the way. That's just a fear that was projected at the time. But what I realized as the years passed is like, I don't want to go back, not to what I used to do. So don't be afraid. Just go on that path, go in that direction, and realize that you can make it. You can make this happen. We have not just the Empress, but the High Priestess, two of the best sort of leadership and divine feminine cards that could come through. She has the skills to make it happen. she has the magic, she has the belief, she has the manifestation ability. So why is she reversed? Disbelief. Also, like training. A lot of times our parents and our society teach us that you will never get this. This doesn't happen to people like you, whatever that means. Putting some sort of a cookie cutter or a limit around us, a box around us because of the gender that we identify as, because of the religion that we practice, because of the age that we have. So many isms and phobias that come through that are not necessary. So you're coming through and you know you can get over that, but there's still a little bit of that. So whatever this, to me, it feels like barnacles and dust and crazy stuff from other people. So just take a deep breath and get rid of that stuff and get back to what your heart is telling you. You can do this. And what you're seeing is valid. So open up and work your magic. We have a genie in a bottle here. So with the bottle upside down, she's really ready to break free of that. So with a genie, which is kind of interesting, there's great power, but also great limits. And so there's a little bit of the devil energy that's controlling it because genies are stuck in a lamp or a bottle. And so you're going to get yourself out of that box. That's why I keep talking about it. But you're not that genie in a bottle. You're just powerful. You're just a genie, or you're just a high priestess, okay? Why is all of this important? Because there's something else that you could be focusing on. We have a really cool Wheel of Fortune card here. In a lot of decks, you'll see a spider entity or energy, and we see that with this. You weave the threads to your own fate. You don't have to get stuck up in other people's sort of web, cosmic web. You're the spider, you're spinning, you're creating. And so there might be something where you've decided, I've done all I can do here. This pattern has shown itself. That's drawing me. So I see a pivot, a turn, a shift, a change of heart, change of direction, change of job, some sort of a change for the better. Also, if you're not getting enough, the Wheel of Fortune in reverse is saying, advocate for what's best. You are well liked and you are doing a good job and you are very capable. So if there's anything where you're getting less than the support that you deserve in a relationship, let's say you're putting in 120% and your partner's just clocking in at nothing. You can do better than that. If you are in a job and you're working really hard, but you aren't getting the support, the autonomy, the money that you deserve, you probably can do better than that as well. If there's something in your life and you don't feel a sense of fulfillment, this is a chance to fight for your heart, fight for what your heart is desiring. And we have love here, which is receipt, which is magnetic, and it's in possibilities. The Lovers is reversed, but some of you are seeing it from a different angle. So this is kind of cool because we have the Beauty and the Beast in this particular card here. And some of you may feel like you're kind of like the Beast character, which is, I have so much to offer, but people are only seeing these other facets of me. But was it Belle? I haven't read that or seen that in a long time. But she was able to see past the illusion, past the facade. So you're being asked to see past that, whether it's your own illusion or whether it's someone else's. That's the important thing here. Also, being discerning is key. So the Lover's card in reverse, the first thing that comes along isn't necessarily the best. So the first thing that my guides put into my head was like biological clock. I don't do personal readings anymore, but when I used to, one of the most frequent questions that would be asked to me is, my biological clock is ticking, when am I going to meet someone? And to me, that was not the right way of going about it. What we really want to look at is, am I ready to meet someone? Do I need to work on anything? Why am I so focused on finding the partner? If I am pulling in people, what kind of energies are attracted to me? I could think of like 15 other questions to look at rather than that. I understand the biological clock being a piece of it, but the main thing here, so we can put an arbitrary deadline on ourselves, like by age something, I need to have this, this, and this. It could be a house, it could be a job, it could be a child, but these are just things that you believe you need to have, not necessarily that you're ready. And if you put those deadlines, then you're going to be attracting a sort of weird energy. So make sure that you're okay. Kind of like you need to be at a take it or leave it sort of thing. Like, this would be great, but I'm also a whole complete individual with or without all of this. And also, I don't have to, if you're going to create something or someone, it doesn't always have to come through you. It could be a partnership. There could be some other way of bringing this thing into fruition. Keep a very open mind here. If someone comes through and you're so keen on like, I need it now, and the reason that I'm going through the impatience, it doesn't have to just be birthing a baby. It could be like, I need a house now. I need a job now. I need this now. All you're telling the universe is send the first thing my way. And then the first thing that comes your way may not be the best match. It's just the universe hearing like, I'm frenzied, just send me something. So don't be that frenzied. Say, I'm ready and I'm working on myself. Show me the best possible match and opportunity available to me. And remind me that I don't have to settle if it's not good enough. Because you can get what you're looking for. Good news. Long rant with good news at the end. You're attracting what you're seeking. Just make sure you're attracting the best possible opportunity, not the first possible opportunity, okay? And you can apply those words to anything in your life, because the lovers isn't just two people making out. The lovers is you attracting what you love the most, what you're desiring the most. And I want to make sure that it meets your expectations, that there's no sort of like, oh, that was it? This is it? Was this all I thought it would be? I want it to be like, this was worth the wait. Thank God I didn't marry that first person, take that first job, or buy that thing before it went on sale. Look at what I've got now, how much more I have because I was patient. Okay? Just make sure that you're sure. All right? That's what I'm getting with that. But you got the lovers, so it's good. By the way, the lovers is showing opportunity. There's a lot. There could be a few jobs coming in. There could be a few prospects coming in for dating. Again, making sure that you're not spreading yourself too thin or that you're not in too many directions at once would be the main piece of advice for that. Okay. 3 of Wands. Yay to this. Whatever it is that you're seeking not only is en route, but it's possibly already around you. So the reason that I highlighted the 4 of Cups back in my channeled messages is I don't want you to miss this. Also, you can go higher, like further, farther, faster, higher than you thought you could. So just keep reaching. I really like that we see in this 3 of Wands someone climbing that ladder. So it can be a figurative sort of metaphor where you're going to climb the professional ladder. It can also be showing you that you're really at the precipice of a nice breakthrough. You're breaking through a glass ceiling. You're breaking through your own disbelief. You're breaking through a cycle, maybe even an ancestral or a familial cycle. And all of a sudden it's like, wow, I did this. Okay. So yes, you can find love this month. Yes, you can find a new opportunity. Yes, there may be a delay. Yes, it's worth it. So don't give up. It's all positive and affirmatives, but the only challenge for you is the patience or impatience piece, which has come through quite a few times. All right? Let me take a drink of water, and then we're going to go into the expanded forecast. The expanded forecast gives us a chance to look at health, wealth, love, and destiny. Each one of these is multifaceted. So as I take a look at health, for instance, we're going to not be looking just at your body. We're also going to be taking a look at what makes you happy, what's healthy for you, mind, body, and spirit. I put a little disclaimer here. Whenever we look at the body, obviously you want to work with a professional if something doesn't feel right, so a doctor, a therapist, etc. I'm going to be looking at energy and opportunities for you. I'm a tarot reader, not a doctor, but that being said, there's still a lot that will be helpful for you here. All right, so let's look at the card that indicates health this month. We see someone here, it almost reminds me of Sleepy Hollow, where that guy fell asleep for a long time and then kind of woke up. We have the tree here, and I feel like some of us are coming out of a hibernation period. And someone or something is kind of stumbling upon your hibernation energy and it awakens you. For some of us, this could be a crush because we have the Lovers card. So we may have decided accurately or inaccurately, just sort of like, I don't need or want love. Love had a different idea for you though. The universe was like, well, good. I'm going to show you this then. It seems like you're open to anything and you've moved on. So sometimes just at that point where we've decided, I'm done with this, something comes knocking. So I see a little bit of an awakening here. So all of a sudden you could feel like in a relationship, there could be a crush. In your health life, you could just feel this invigoration. All of a sudden you're waking up at like 2 or 3 in the morning, you've got energy. Or you're getting antsy. You're at a job and you're like, I'm bored and I'm antsy and I need to do something. Something that was enough wasn't. Something where you felt nothing, now you do. there's something that awakened within you. It could also be your intuitive awakening as well, since you're showing up here at an intuitive channel. So I see a really cool awakening happening for many of you. And the question is, what are you going to do about it? And are you ready to take the first step? I still see a sort of sleepy energy here that almost makes me want to yawn. So I think for many of you, making sure that you're getting ample sleep, making sure that you are just open enough to just explore what this awakening means to you is going to be key. So today, the health message is about listen to what I did on the weekend, the inner calling, that inner awakening. It'll help you through this. So that it's a timeless reading that I do, that portion of it. So you can check out yesterday's video. It's featured on the beginning of my homepage, or you can go to my website or whatever and take a look at it. Okay, so let's look at some additional messages on health for you. Okay, you've got mostly good cards here. I want to, with the Hanged Man, a couple of interesting notes with this. There is impatience, which we've talked about. So when it comes to recovery, which is the Seven of Cups, this can be recovery after a broken bone. This can be recovery after illness, etc. It takes time, and sometimes we want to go right back to 100%. So Hanged Man is saying, especially if you play sports or if you're really active, maybe you're the type of person that likes to run a marathon, or you're a mom or a dad and you have a lot of running back and forth that you need to do. This is saying lean on your partner, lean on your family, lean on your friends a little bit. And if it is like a 5K or something, maybe don't do this. Take a break, let your body heal, and just ease yourself back into the former you. I've had some injuries in my body before, whether it's a sprain or a bruise or fracture or some sort of a pulled muscle. What I do is slowly work myself back into that old active state. And I always trust in my head, even if my body's not there yet, I'm going to get there. So just trust that the timing will be good, and whatever your new normal is, you'll be okay. You're going to be all right. So just give yourself the necessary time to heal. Take care of yourself. If you want to book that appointment with the massage therapist, the chiropractor, the therapist, or book a vacation, whatever. This Empress energy is about taking care of yourself. She's the eternal mother basically coming through. So definitely do that. Work may be stressing you out more than is necessary, so try to get some distance from that. If you feel something's going on, talk about it. High Priestess is powerful but not effective when she's reversed. So if you feel like I really should go to this doctor because this hurts, then you should. Get it checked out. Nothing can be lost by checking all of your sort of like potential issues. I do see a good outcome here for whatever it is that you're dealing with. So just follow through. And back to the beginning here with the vow. If you really want to do something with respect to, like, maybe you're going to work out, maybe you're going to work on mental health, whatever it is that you want to do, find that person that will keep you accountable, a doctor, a friend, a loved one, and trust that you can do this. Keep your promises, okay? All right, pretty good overall. There's an awakening. That's the main message that I see with health. Let's move on to your wealth card. So as we move into wealth, we have the playful dolphin spirit. So cool. I even mentioned that this energy seemed playful to me. So if you are looking at, so wealth, by the way, can be your career, your money, your life purpose. If you're retired, it can be how you're spending your free time. So the dolphin is intelligent and is also super playful. So with this totem, if you're not having fun at what you're doing, you're not doing as much as you could be doing, you're not sort of like beaming as much as possible. So I don't think that we should ever be forced to smile or anything like that. But I think that we should have fun. We should enjoy the work and the sort of stuff that we're doing in our lives. So if there's something that doesn't bring a smile to your heart, that's where the smile needs to be. But if you don't feel like, gosh, I'm so happy I'm doing this, or this really makes me look forward to getting up, why are you doing it? Is there something else in your life that you can do to augment it? So if the job isn't giving you that, does it give you the resources to put your energy into something else that does? Are you working to make that other thing more of a prominent force in your life? Put the passion and the energy into something that brings joy and happiness and passion, because that's one of the most powerful cards and energies that's availing itself to you this month, okay? So let's look a little bit more detailed at all the cards here and see what's going on. I like to break this down. Let me look at those of you that have a job right now, if you're working. So if you're working, as I said earlier, not being a wallflower is important. Saying what's on your mind, participating, sitting at the front of the room, or at, leaning into the meeting if you're actually back in the office, or waving on Zoom or something. Just make sure that your voice is being heard and seen. Patience is key. Not overextending yourself is key. Once you've kind of learned these lessons, then you're going to be set up to lead effectively. I do think you're being set up for promotion or opportunity. And if you feel like there's a ceiling, go somewhere else or push through that glass ceiling. Because if there ever was a card here that could get through the ceiling, it's this Three of Wands. So if not this place, then somewhere else. Now that's for those of you that are working. It looks pretty good overall. I feel like it's a good time to talk about the future, and I kind of framed up a way that you can do that. One last thing, and this one is actually going to help everybody, and then I'll get into the other aspects of career. But if you can't see it, or if you don't believe it, your boss, your coworkers, the other people around you are never going to believe it. So I want you to kind of really work on confidence this month. For those of you that have your own company, what we're seeing here is some really good energy around word of mouth, but I'm also seeing resources being tight. So I think the important thing this month is deciding, like, where are we seeing the most return energetically and also like money-wise, and then maybe pare back the other stuff. Some of you are spreading yourself too thin, and I think that's going to be not an advantage. So you have to find a way to kind of remedy that. If you're job seeking, one thing that I want you to kind of focus on is just overall budget right now, and making sure that you're limiting unnecessary expenditures. And some of you are holding out for something higher. I approve of that. There may be some interim work here. There might be some freelance work. I see a lot of opportunities. So maybe there's something that is a stepping stone to the next one. Keep an open mind. It looks good. It looks good with the Three of Wands. It looks like within the next quarter, you'll see some progress and some traction here. For those of you that are retired, are you spending enough time and energy with the ones that you love? Because that's what I really see here is people coming through first. Is there someone or something that you're thinking about connecting to, or something that you want to do? You have the resources, or you have the wherewithal to make that happen. You could also ask for help, or maybe you can do it like a partnership type thing, or traveling with somebody on a trip or something like that. I like this. Make a plan. Make a plan with someone, and make a plan to do something. All right, let's look at relationships. It's a nice segue into relationships. We have the Eagle Spirit coming through here, and I love the message here. It says, Spirit has your back. In order to do this, you have to trust what you're seeing. Think of eagle eyes, right? And think of like a bird's eye perspective. So in relationships, if you can get out of the thicket a little bit, see it from the other person's perspective, see it from a distance too, look at it. I really think time is your friend. So if you can't quite connect on someone's schedule to get something in, whether it's a meeting or a conversation or whatever, or you haven't heard back in a while, they're ruminating, they're thinking about something, you are too. When you guys come together, it will be great. So I think that this time is very much a healing thing for the two of you. Let's take a look at the different types of relationships. One last thing, sorry. Guides are giving me one last thing to talk about, which is back to what you see. If someone shows in actions something that they don't in words, pay attention to that. If someone has a hard time saying, I love you, but they're showing that they love you, then give them a little bit more time, or let them know that it's safe to kind of express that. If they're saying that they're going to do everything right, but they continually kind of act with the Seven of Swords or moon energy, and they disappoint you, pay attention. Actions speak louder than words. And in relationships over the next month, pay attention to demonstrative actions and how people kind of show up. That's going to help you the most. We're going to look at people in love, looking for love, or single and happy. In love can also just be intimate relationships with someone that you're spending a lot of time with. It can be a roommate. It can be a parent. It can be a coworker. It's basically you care about this person, so it's a relationship of sorts. So relationships first, but kind of through the lens of love. I try to do this portion for love. One thing that I'm seeing here, although we didn't get a Three of Cups, We might as well have, because there's just a lot of energy coming through here. This third wheel could be either a sibling or a parent. So I see a lot of energy where someone could be getting in the middle of you and someone that you care about. So just hold true to who you are, and sometimes people just want to make sure that you're happy. So if it's your mom and or your dad or your aunt or uncle and they're worried about someone being good enough for you, say, they're more than enough. Stop worrying about me. Are you happy? Why are you so focused on me? I can handle my life. Sometimes they just need the reassurance. Just say, yeah, I know who I am. This isn't my first time around the bin, so I can handle this. So just make sure that you're confident, and that will help you out with that. There could be temptation. There could be someone or something that comes through. But again, the key thing here is to be patient and not to sort of like act on impulse. I think the most important thing you can do is have a conversation this month with whoever you're with, because communication and the heart-centric energy comes through the most. Patience, nurturing, those are going to be key. Also making sure that both of you are being intelligent about like resources overall. One or both of you may have overcommitted to something, so just be honest about that. Really, everything here looks pretty good. Again, it looks like money is the biggest pressure point, and that almost comes through just about every month when I look at relationships for people. It's a trying time because of inflation, because of all the world events that are happening right now, and budgets are hard, I get it. But I like that we have Empress, Lovers, and the Three of Wands as we're looking at potential outcome energy. I think you can work through any challenge ahead as long as you're honest, as long as you don't overcommit, as long as you don't overpromise. If you are single and looking for love right now, here's the cool thing. I actually feel like you're getting pretty good at being independent. And that's really why there might have been a waiting period for some of you. And I talked about arbitrary deadlines, whether it's things that our parents expect us to get married by a certain age, or we think that we're incomplete without someone. That's going to lead to the wrong kinds of partnerships. So I'm here to tell you, with or without someone, you're complete. Life can be a lot more fun, a lot more engaging, a lot more playful with someone else, but you don't need that person to complete you. So that's a piece here that I just wanted to kind of like make sure that we talked about. Can someone be coming in? Absolutely. Three of Wands shows me within the next quarter year, next 2 to 3 months. We have the lover energy right here. We have a really strong personality with the Empress. This person could be bossy. You're pulling in a bossy person. But guess what? You can be sort of stuck in your ways too. So I feel like an evenly matched individual is en route. Trust what you feel, when you feel it, when you meet the person. If you think to yourself, this isn't the right person, the right time, it's not the right person, it's not the right time. If you think, oh my God, this is what I've been waiting for, don't swallow your tongue or your throat. Like, just take a deep breath and start talking to this person. You already know stepping into it. You don't need me. You don't need a tarot deck. All you need is your heart, okay? But I do see a nice connection happening here for many of you. Sort out your money, sort out your time, sort out your resources. Finish what you've started. The vow is very much connected to the Seven of Pentacles here. So we don't want to have you entering into a relationship before that promise has been kept, because how can you then enter into another promise, right? If you're single and happy, good for you. Single and happy right now is great because I actually feel like there's opportunity for new work, for travel. There's still partnership energy coming through. Also, a lot of spiritual and creative awakening that's happening for you. So listen to that. Anything that you put your time and energy into, we see both a return on that financially for some of you, and then just also kind of like a breakthrough. So it's a great time to just be focusing on self. Let's go to the Destiny card here. So we see ostensibly the Angel of Death. I think it's called a scythe. It's a weird kind of way of, it's a weird word, but anyway, holding that sickle basically that is important or intrinsic to death being able to reap what it sowed. So when I see the scythe, I'm seeing that you get a chance to see a return on something. This is harvest energy. So the card is reversed, which is saying, am I ready or deserving of what I have created? Yes, especially when your outcome card is the Three of Wands. So if somebody comes to you and says, hey, I think you would be great for this job. Or, hello, I've been wanting to ask you out for a long time. Do you want to go out? Or hello, I know you've been on this waiting list for a while for a doctor's appointment or for an apartment or a house. The other person fell through. Are you still interested? The universe is coming knocking with this card. And it's removing boundaries for you too. You reap what you sow. So put the energy in right now so that when that opportunity comes, you'll say, yes, I'm ready for it. I've been tending to that garden for a while. You're the cosmic gardener. So this 7 of coins or 7 of pentacles and this sort of death card is saying, I'm ready now to step into the new. Hopefully you are, okay? Really cool energy coming through overall. Let's take a quick look at where we've been and where we're going to go next. So we just got through the Celtic Cross and the expanded forecast. We're going to take a look at the big idea. What is the big idea, Nicholas? You may be asking me. Well, the big idea is a chance for you to look at one key, one thing that you can focus the most on to really see an impactful return energetically. So without further delay, let's take a look and see what that big idea is going to yield for you. All right, so the big idea this month is avoiding unnecessary limits here, because the Devil card can be a limiting thought or limiting idea. We see the snake here, which is a symbol for the devil, but what's cool about the snake is it's flexible. So inflexibility can also be devil energy, saying it can only be done this way. It will only happen here. I have to do this by this time. The limits that you place on things can hold you back from potential opportunities left and right. So you can set a goal. I would love to have this by this time. But if something better happens, or if I can have a compelling reason to wait, by all means, show that to me too. Let the universe surprise you with positive sort of spins on this, all of this or greater. What you want to avoid is contracts, promises, or agreements that keep you stuck too long, that constrain you too much. Fight for something where it's really more than enough and good enough, and it gives you the room to grow. You shouldn't have to do all of these like non-competition clauses, non-disclosure, non-this, non-that. At a certain point, it's sort of like, what rights do I have left after I leave? What do I own if I sign all of this away? This is especially important for artists out there. So whether you are a writer, a singer, a painter, anybody that kind of, I would also say engineers. So if you're coming up with something, you shouldn't lose all capability to claim some sort of a right to that. You should get to be a part of the success of something. So make sure that you're not signing away intellectual property or indefinite amounts of time. Like if you're trying to, if you're looking at a 30-year mortgage and you think, I just can't do that, or a 2-year lease or something, whatever it is that feels like it's too long, pay attention to the limits. Before you get into that, okay? Good. All right, so that's a powerful message. One last thing here is you're going to be stronger than the temptation that presents itself. So if you've truly sort of integrated your message or your lesson in life, the devil likes to come through in last time and just say, are you sure? And you're going to say, yes, I'm sure. Move on. All right, so there might be one last little temptation coming through, but it's going to be okay. Let's take a look at your blessings and your blocks for the week ahead. The blessings and blocks are things to embrace, things to potentially avoid, or to try to approach with a different point of view. So we'll pull the cards first and then we'll talk about them. Blessing is the 8 of Cups, second chances. I like it. And your block this month is the 2 of Cups reverse. Could be something unrequited or unavailable, connecting with that devil energy. So let's talk about it. Blessing first, 8 of Cups. Making and breaking cycles, second chances, could also be a necessary leave of absence or sort of separation that you need to get things clear in your head. Let's talk about second chances first. If you had a goal, a dream, an aspiration, and you failed at it, you didn't have an opportunity, or you didn't give it an opportunity to sort of grow, or you just sort of like didn't act on it, there is an opening coming through saying, it's okay. We all go through that. What are you going to do this time? As I said earlier, you have a second chance to finish something that you started. okay? You also get a chance to say no to a cycle that you don't like. We make and break cycles with the Eight of Cups. This is something we want to break. That can be an addiction, a temptation, or a limit that isn't necessary anymore. This time you say, you know what, I think I'm good. I'm going to walk out on my own. I'm going to find my own path, my own way. We see a sort of journeyman energy with the Eight of Cups here. The interesting thing with it is that you have to go and explore and find yourself, and sometimes we want to leave that door cracked open. But there is a point at which it may make sense for you to kind of close the door. So make sure that there's not too many loose ends. That's the only sort of mixed blessing with this. But the cool thing is if you need to step away from something, you can do it with grace, and you can probably do it in such a way that they want you back when you're ready to come back. This is more in the case of like a place that you work or a friends group and you're like stepping away for a little bit to work on yourself. It feels like there's still an open heart or an open door or an open mind. You can't always get everything that you had when you come back because people change just like you changed, but the door is open and that's exciting. So second chances, opportunities to revisit old friendships, old alliances, really just a chance to sort of figure out, am I happy on the path that I'm on? Okay, great blessing card across the board. Interesting block here. We have the Two of Cups. The card is reversed. Let's look at it in the upright position. What's interesting about the Two of Cups is sometimes, again, we were talking about the potential for you to sort of like not settle for the first thing that comes your way. There may also be someone that offers you something and you're just not feeling it. Vice versa, you may be very interested in someone else and it's unrequited. Like the Bonnie Raitt song, you can't make them feel something that they don't. You can't make them love you. You can't make yourself love somebody else. You can't force the emotion. So I think the block this month is, if you feel it, great. If you don't, then you don't. And you can't force feed the energy of love and passion. I still like that we got the Two of Cups for you. So if I were to take this on the most positive twist here, so how could this block be positive? I would say some of you have thought, like I said earlier, you're not going to love again, or you're not interested in it, or you're not looking for any more friends. Somebody's very keen on coming into your life, and they're pretty stubborn based on what I'm seeing here. So you could have a distraction, but it could be a really positive distraction, because when we take a look at all of the cards on the table, we do have the Lovers here, and that's pretty good. The Devil came through as something that could hold you back from something else. So if you're really trying to get something done, then love can be a distraction. It's not the worst kind of distraction. You're just going to have to balance something else in your life. So that could be the positive here, is you weren't intending on falling in love or finding someone or connecting with someone, but it happened anyway. So be that as it may, it's not always the end of the world. The good news for you is that I feel like you're going to be able to recognize whatever challenge it is long before it comes through. You're going to be able to make and break cycles in an intelligent way. And you may have an unexpected friendship. You just have to think about, like, how can I have the balance between work and personal life, or family and personal life? It can be something, personal life is being tugged at a little bit here. And you'll have to figure out how to prioritize that. Okay? So let's segue into the next portion of this. We're going to look at the viewers and the reader's choice. And so I'll look at one and you'll look at one. And I'm going to give you a chance, you the viewer, to look at things. So let me kind of take a look at some of the stuff. I think one of the things that would be fun is that relationship thing. So I'm going to put that up there as one of the opportunities. Let me just take a look at everything here. So, all right, let's see what's coming through. I'll pick 3 options here for the viewer's choice. The first one I was seeing is balancing relationships. Since some of you have relationships coming through and you're thinking, what am I going to do about that? So balancing relationships. The next thing here is, let's see. We want to look at the Devil card a little bit here. So avoiding, I'm just going to put, avoiding the Devil energy. So this is going to be, a lot of times it can be limits and temptations, but I'll put limits here for that. And then I want to see how you could break through this glass ceiling. or a block, in other words, in your life. Okay, so those are your choices. While you're selecting something, I'm going to take a look at the cards here and see what calls to me. Reaping what you've sowed here. I really like this, this idea of being able to be ready for an opportunity. So how can you prepare to, in a positive way, reap the benefits of all the hard work that you've been putting into something? So Reader's Choice, Three of Swords card. Let's take a look at that. That's a very interesting sort of energy to come through here. So for many of you, there is this reminder here that you don't have to punish yourself anymore, and you don't have to hold yourself back for someone else's happiness. It's the latter piece that's the important one. Sometimes we decide, especially if you're a parent, I get this, there'll be sacrifices in life, like I'm going to wait this amount of time before going back to work, or I'd like to do this, but I want to spend time with my children. There comes a point where, let's say later in your life, you get a chance to say, well, my children are grown now, I'm going to do this, or even if I sacrifice here and here, there has to be a place where I can be taking care of myself, nurturing myself, and being happy. In life, as an adult, this can also be different. Let's say you don't have children, you're not in a relationship, but you're feeling pressure from others to do something that makes them happy, but it makes you unhappy. This could be to marry someone that you don't love. This could be to walk into a family business for which you don't really have an affinity. Whatever it is, it's not you. And so the power in this particular sort of card is saying, I worked for this opportunity in my life, and I'm not going to pass it up because you can't see it, or you don't support it, or you don't agree with it. This is my time to develop, to change, to explore. And I choose happiness, and I choose the risk associated with taking that leap. And I can't wait to sort of see what comes through because of that. So choose happiness. This is a rebound card for me as I'm looking at it. So you get the chance now to not punish yourself, not have to sort of fulfill other people's ideals of what you need to be, and just really be yourself. Let's check in with the poll and see which card is in the lead. Yay, okay, we've got the break through a glass ceiling or some sort of a block in your life. I think you chose a great question there. I'm going to give it a second because I know sometimes at the last minute there'll be a couple of votes that come in and it's a surprise, but let's see. Nope, it won, and by a decent margin. So breaking through the glass ceiling. We have the Queen of Cups, which is telling me that you can do it. All right, so let's talk about going through the glass ceiling or going through the block. All right, so we have Queen of Cups energy here. One thing that's really cool about the way this card is illustrated is she's a mermaid. So with the mermaid energy, there's this reminder that you may have to, it's sort of like you have to put yourself in a different environment. You may feel like a fish out of water, but you have exactly what it takes to survive in two different groups, two different platforms, two different energies. So for those of you that may think, like I'm too old for social media, no, you're not. I'm too young for that particular type of music, like opera or whatever. No, you're not. You're not to this, you're not to that for anything. You just have to believe in what your heart is saying and feeling to get out there. So the Queen of Cups is following the passion, and part of the breakthrough happens here and here. So when you can see past the block that you're putting on yourself, I think that's what's coming through the strongest is I'm not this enough, I'm not that enough. And we have a mermaid. And she can basically navigate both land and sea. So you can do this. You can navigate to that new energy. So for many of you, you're just going to have to not be overly practical or overly emotional because those two elements would be associated with those extremes. I think that's key. Win them over in the heart. You've got to believe it, they've got to believe it, and that will help you. The other thing that I'm picking up on as I'm looking at this card is the currents of the place and what's current in the energy going on. So if you're in a place where you feel like there's constantly an undertow or the sort of overarching energy pushes you back, I would say, remember what I talk about with like ace cards in Rider-Waite-Smith. The universe is constantly presenting things. Sometimes it's pulling us in another direction. Sometimes it's pushing us. So if the currents, which you would feel if you're in the water, what direction are things going? If they're on the wrong side of the current energy of the world, like let's just say they're stuck in the past, how much energy will it take for you to change that place or change yourself to meet their expectations? I honestly think for some of you, swim to higher water or better ground, and you're going to find a place that embraces you. So I think the glass ceiling for you is just the understanding that I deserve this, and if I can't get this here, I'll get it somewhere else. It's really standing firm with your beliefs. Get that other offer and be willing to take it. Whether it's love, whether it's work, whether it's anything in your life, really, just decide like, I'm strong enough that I can take it or I can leave it, okay? Your creativity could also be one of the defining factors here, because the Queen of Cups is passion and creativity. So someone else may have more experience than you, but you may have more creative energy or a better personality, and that's going to win them over as well. Let's take a quick look at what's coming up here. So we just got through the reader's choice. We're going to move on to the final portion here, where we'll give you a chance to meditate on a question for me. And for this final card, give me a second here and write it all down. Write down whatever your question is. Don't put it in chat. Just hold on to that for a second. After the meditation, I'll pull a final card and we'll see what's coming through. The meditation is very brief, by the way. It'll be like 1 to 2 minutes, and a quick singing bowl or crystal pyramid as we're doing that. And from there, I'll move on. While I'm talking about that, I'm going to give you a chance to vote on which instrument you'd like me to use during the meditation. Again, crystal pyramid or the singing bowl. So you have a chance to vote right now. I'm going to just put that out for vote. And a couple of quick things while we're getting ready. First of all, if you like what you see here, give me a like and subscribe if you haven't already. Subscribing is absolutely free. It helps the channel grow. It helps other people see that this is a good place to come. So please do it. Costs nothing. For some reason, they call it subscribe instead of follow. You can also connect with me on social media. All my official platforms are here. Reminder that I don't give private readings, so if anyone ever contacts you here on YouTube or any other platform and offers that, it's not me. But what I do on all of these other channels is I'll remind you of any upcoming news, events, or information that's relevant, like what I'm reading today. And also on Instagram, I put some sort of like cool slices of life too, so feel free to follow me if you'd like to. Thank you to everyone that's given back already. It helps me continue to do more things like this, more shows, and I'm trying to launch a podcast, so it helps with all of that. So I appreciate your support. All right, let's get ready for your meditation. As I look at all the cards in front of me today, and I'll pull the camera down for 1 second so you guys can look as well. I like the sort of energy of liberation that's coming through and flexibility. I like being able to break through things. I think what we could do today is to kind of use the energy of we talked about the acorn earlier, and maybe we could just imagine that you are like the acorn breaking through the earth, a seed, a cosmic seed. So we're going to do that. We're going to have this opportunity to grow, and that'll be a different way to sort of like break through a glass ceiling or something of that nature. So close your eyes, take a nice deep breath. On the exhale, I want you to release your shoulder, neck, back, and also just sort of any muscles or even any persistent thoughts that you've been holding on to. You can also ease any tension in your neck, releasing your jaw a little bit as well. Your eyes even, relaxing, just letting go of everything and just being present. See yourself, if you will, surrounded by this beautiful sort of swirling energy. All the different colors in the rainbow around you, creating this perfect sphere in which you are contained. This is your cosmic seed. This is you at the center of a new idea, a new opportunity. You can imagine that it's both expansive and something that you could hold in your hand. You can see yourself in it. You can also see yourself outside of it, because when we manifest, things are very much like this. We are a participant. We're also a creator. So I'd like you to, in this moment in time, see that you could kind of hold this crystal in your hand, come out of that sphere of creation And then be the creator. Imagine that you're bigger than life, holding this small seed. In this seed, I want you to place some wishes, some dreams. It's like a coin that you're going to flip into a fountain. Instead, however, we're going to plant this seed in the ground and watch it grow. So try to constrain it to 1 or 2 ideas. 1 would be best. What's one thing that you'd like to really see happen in your life? See it, say it, and now hold that seed close to your heart and then let it go. Imagine now that you could just place this in the ground, gently put the earth on top of it, and instead of having to put water or whatever, you're just going to take a nice deep breath, and you're going to let it go. You're going to breathe onto that seed, and you can just hold your heart as you do this and imagine that you could see this sort of exchange of energy happening. With each breath that you take, you can see life and light and energy starting to infuse into that seed. Watch as it grows. Watch as it pushes through the firmament of this planet and beyond. See where it takes you. See whatever it is that you want to see happen come into fruition. And then if you want to, like Jack and the Beanstalk, imagine that you could climb that sort of beautiful vine that's being created and go to the top and see what's there. And bask in that sort of feeling of, I did this, I accomplished this, that 10 of Wands moment, while I help you with this sound bath here. So we're going to listen to the singing bowl for a moment, and then we're going to just relax here and then look at your final card. Okay? As you sit at the top of this beautiful vine, imagine, just like the morning glory that I showed you earlier, that you are capable of being in this sort of blossom. See something opening up, whether it looks like a lotus or whether it looks like that beautiful trumpet-shaped morning glory. Imagine now that you sit here in this moment and you're ready to be that blossom. You're ready to bloom and enter into a period of abundance and grace and opportunity. When you're ready, open your eyes, and let's turn your attention to your final question that you have for me. Let's see what's coming through with that. Okay, so just focus on what your question is, and I'm going to see the overarching message. We have the 8 of Pentacles, and the 8 of Pentacles is a really great final card. What does it mean? It means that there's a return on your investment. Typically with this, there is this opportunity to go into the energy of perfection, of learning, of exchange of knowledge and skills. We see someone here that's a little bit forlorn. She thinks to herself, this was more work than I thought it would be. So one of the messages here is that it is worth it. If there wasn't a little struggle, if there wasn't a little bit of time and energy and patience that was necessary, the reward wouldn't be as sweet. So there is a nice, sweet reward on the horizon for you. Some of you are dealing with frustration, impatience, or doubt. And this 8 of Pentacles is saying, don't let the work get in the way of what the overarching sort of goal is. When I was writing my book, if I knew how much struggle that would be worth, I was like, wow, like almost 10 years to kind of get that out. And I want to do more, but like, yeah, you learn from that. Next time it'll be easier. Things are easier each subsequent time. So you'll get through this, and you're doing great. You're treading well on whatever it is that you have in mind. So for those of you that are goal-oriented, the Eight of Pentacles says, right on track. Just don't give up. For those of you that had a yes-no sort of question here, the answer would be yes, but you have to finish, you have to invest, you have to just put a lot into this to see it through. Roll up your sleeves like I do here and do the work, and that's part of this. The other thing here is we're looking at time and movement whenever I see a migration of birds here. Kind of really appropriate here as we enter into both spring and fall, respectively, depending on which hemisphere you're in. There has to be a shift that's happening for you, and I think you need to invest in where your energy is taking you. Because if you are investing in something where your heart's over here and you're over here, you're not going to be able to finish it in the time or with the sort of like finesse or pizzazz that you would like to, okay? Overall, it's really, really good. And there you go. I think that's everything in a nutshell here. The main sort of, this is usually a very positive card, but I saw that sense of frustration coming through when we look at the person on this one, so don't give up, okay? That is everything. So before we get into the gratitude portion, one last chance to subscribe, to like, to hit the bell if you haven't. Again, a reminder, you can follow me on social media. Thank you to everybody that's given back. We're going to talk about that right now. So first of all, I'd like to welcome anyone who's brand new. It's a pleasure to have met you. I hope you, first of all, you should check out my weekend video if you haven't already. And I hope you stick around and come back to future readings. If you're a longtime supporter, you're the reason that I'm here, and you've helped me do all of this all the way along. So thank you for your ongoing support. I appreciate it. I'm going to take a moment now to welcome any new members or anybody who gave back today with a super chat or a super sticker. So let's start first with the newest members. I think it's pretty low today, so just a couple here. Yasmina, thank you so much. Brand new channel member, welcome. And welcome back to Sarah after 11 months. Good to have you back. Everyone else I remember from yesterday, so thank you. For super stickers and super chats, give me a moment here and I'll say thanks to everybody. So let's see, Sagittarius. Yasmina, thank you for kicking things off today. I appreciate that. Kiara Narang, thank you for your support as well. And I'm glad you like the positivity. I do my best. Rosemary, I really appreciate your generous contribution there. Thank you so much for the 50. Kiara, again, thank you for 2 in a row. I'm glad that you liked the stories behind the cards and that you enjoyed what you saw today. And I think it's Nzinga. Thank you so much for your support as well. And I think that's everybody today. I hope you had a fantastic time being with me today. Really beautiful energy, I have to say, in today's reading. I feel like you're on the precipice of some really beautiful change. Keep the promises that you make to yourself, most importantly, when we look at this vow card. And remember that you are worth it. You are worth whatever it is that you're bringing through here, whatever you're trying to manifest, whatever you're trying to bring forth. You reap what you sow. So keep on working hard and believing in yourselves. Okay? Please remember, I'll be back later this week. I'll be back again on Thursday and Friday for more readings. So we did Sagittarius today. I'll be doing Capricorn and Aquarius on Thursday, Friday. On Sunday, I'll do the collective, and next Monday we'll do Pisces, and then we'll rinse and repeat and start the new readings for the next month, the following week. So until then, lots of love and light. Remember that all of your readings for March are already up on the channel, so you can catch up on that if you haven't already. And as you can tell, I'm pretty close to wrapping up all the April ones. So join me this week if you'd like to. Thanks again to Maria for her help with moderating. And to all of you, have a fantastic day. Take care. Bye-bye.